Hang on.
A little bit cool, almost a little warm, overcast, lots of rain overnight, maybe rain throughout the day. Things are aflower. We've got a lot of little beautiful scenes happening all around. The daffodils are blooming. They seem to line up pretty much with the Nanking cherries and the apricots. Such a lovely set of characters. And Fuki underneath here catching. Their flowers just wrapped up. They're some of the earliest flowers in the season, and this will be a carpet of beautiful, huge green leaves in no time. But let me get back on track. Chicken yard stuff. This is what I want to work on today a little bit, is to start figuring out incorporating more of that verdant green beautifulness in the compost area. So folks that watch this channel know that the majority of this space is meant to be an active compost turning operation. We're constantly bringing in wood chips and sawdust and food scraps in the spirit of trying to generate lots and lots of habitat for red wigglers and sprouting. That's the main diet of our hens, is sprouts and worms and some compost when it first comes in. But I'd love to be able to get them solid amounts of greens. As we renovate garden beds in the early spring, we're pulling old plants. I'm digging up dandelions and old mustards and garlic mustards, things like that. We throw them in the space where we're not actively harvesting compost. And you can see where the plants, if they are in contact with the soil a little, they'll try to reroot and grow again. All of this is feeding the hens, but for the most part, these plants are going to pass away in here. And for the most part, that's okay. But then I look at a band like this where we've harvested a lot of compost. If we go much deeper, it's going to start getting extremely sodden and wet in here. I'd love to have this translate into green pasture, and I think there might be a way we can do that. With the impact of the hens, it would not be possible to simply sow seed and hope that it would work. But we've got some ingredients that can facilitate this. Anytime I get into a project like this, my mind goes immediately to what are the parts and bits that we have laying around. It's not how am I going to order stuff online or go to a box store. That's fine if I need to, and it's fine if folks need to as well. But what's laying around that might be useful? I think we have some parts that will do this. I've got this huge cache of old bricks that were from a kiln I bought way back when, a propane-fired kiln. So someday we'll build a rocket stove, I think, but some of these bricks with the holes in them we might be able to use. Likewise, someone was getting rid of this whole pile of cinder blocks, so I scooped them up. I wasn't quite sure what I'd use them for. I thought maybe to actually make a functional set of stairs to the front of the house, but we don't really need that. Let's do something in the chicken yard with these instead. There are these things that I found, I think for $1 or $2 at a reuse store, that I'd like to see if we can use these to help with this project. We have leftover half and minor spools of 2 by 4 inch welded wire, 4-foot tall stock. I think this will be our main ingredient. Now, instead of just talking about all these little bits, let me actually start putting some stuff together so I can explain. First, a stick for George. My friend George. He never gets tired of a stick for George. I've tried to see if there's an upper limit to how much he'll do this. There isn't one. The elements that will drive this whole project are the actual plants themselves. So here, I've dug out some bloody dock. It's a wonderful plant, but it's pretty expansive, and we don't need unlimited amounts of it. So that will be an ingredient I think the hens would really like. And as we work through these beds, this is beautiful and green and lovely, but I'd like to have it be a little bit more curated and actively growing things we eat on a day-to-day. So as I dig these plants out, I'm going to leave the soil attached. We'll accumulate them, and I think we can plant them into the chicken yard with...
All right. 4 minutes into this little hootenanny. It is 9:08 in the Salt Lake Valley. Thanks for joining me. I wanted to watch some videos on growing sweet potatoes, and if you want to come in and help me, please do. I'm on Firefox, so I can't really do a good job of playing other videos. So if you can come in, if you're on your desktop, laptop, and you're on Chrome or something like that, where you can play a video as a presentation with me, then I'll give you the link to the sweet potato growing videos, and we can get started, because I'm excited about sweet potatoes. Because what I've learned about them so far makes them look like an ideal thing to grow in your backyard or even in your kitchen if you don't have a backyard. or even, if you got a big property. So, um, sweet potatoes, here's what I've learned so far. Sweet potatoes are not in the potato family. They're instead in the morning glory family. So they have a different characteristic than just growing regular potatoes. And and it looks like one sweet potato, just one, can give you like 1,000 more potatoes, but it doesn't give you 1,000 more in one season. But that one sweet potato can be used to propagate many, many other what's called potato slips. Hey, how you doing?
I'm in the car waiting for an appointment. I thought, oh, I'll go talk to Ace while I'm waiting. So,
Well, I'm so glad you're here.
yeah.
All right. You want to be my sweet potato?
Sure.
Okay, you're on. So
Well,
anyway, so if you have
I don't
one
know
sweet
anything about
potato,
sweet potatoes.
as I was prattling about sweet potatoes. How dare you interrupt me when I'm prattling about sweet
Oh,
potatoes? When I'm prattling about sweet potatoes, it's the most important thing in the world. Okay, so if you have one sweet potato, just one,
mm-hmm.
you can probably get 1,000 or 2,000 sweet potatoes from one sweet potato, but it won't be over one season. So the way you do it is you take the one sweet potato and you put it in halfway in a cup of water, or if it's warm enough outside, you put it halfway in the dirt outside.
Yeah.
And then when it starts growing little vines out, you wait till those vines are about 6 inches long,
Yeah.
and then you
So,
clip the vine off of the sweet potato, and
mm-hmm.
then you plant the vine elsewhere in the dirt, and then that one vine will grow 3 to 7 sweet potatoes. But the
Right.
original sweet potato will still keep growing vines that you can harvest and replant somewhere else. And these little vines are called potato slips.
So,
Anyway, so you
are
can,
you
and
growing sweet potatoes right at this moment,
yes, I
Ace?
am.
Ooh, nice. You like the taste of sweet potatoes? Because they're not my favorite.
Well, here's what you do:
Mm.
you bake the sweet potato, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's all soft. And then you lay it down on the plate and you cover it in chocolate syrup.
What?
Yeah,
Are you serious?
yeah. And
You can't
then,
be serious, right?
well, that's not all. I'm just getting started.
Okay.
So you cover it in chocolate syrup, and then you
Mm.
dice up some lettuce and then cover it in the lettuce on top of the chocolate syrup. And then you
Ah.
dice up some fried beef, like steak, and then
Mm-hmm.
put that over top of it. And then salsa, and then wrap it in a tortilla wrap. And that's not all.
Oh.
That's not all. You keep going. Then you dice up
Oh,
some
right.
garlic, and then
Mm-hmm.
some anchovies, and
Mm-hmm.
then fillet of fish, right? And then stack that
Yeah.
on top of that, and then put a real potato on top of that, a mashed potato, and then the gravy, because you know how good mashed potato and gravy is, don't you? Right?
Yeah.
And
Cool.
then you go uh, get some salsa, smother it in salsa, and then you
Mm-hmm.
grab some more chocolate syrup and smother the salsa in the chocolate syrup.
What? I'm
Yeah.
coming to your house, I think. I thought Tim Hogan's kitchen was good, but now I'm starting to wonder whether there's competition. Oh man, that's funny. Hmm. I don't know. Salsa and chocolate sauce sounds a really bit odd. And steak and mashed potato and oh my goodness, what's
And
going
more
on there?
chocolate syrup.
More chocolate syrup. No, actually, I think I'll stick with Tim Hogan's kitchen.
But what about my pile of food that I just created for you?
Oh my goodness.
The combination of chocolate sauce and fish
Sounds odd.
turned my stomach. Up until then, it was all right.
I'm a little bit worried about the combination, actually.
Yeah. That was pretty good coming up with those different items, though.
Oh yeah, I'm not done.
Yeah, here we go.
But we're on a time constraint here, so
Yeah.
and you can feed the world with this idea. And just imagine you can start a new chain restaurant called the Sweet Potato Pylon.
Pylon.
No, I much prefer the normal potatoes to sweet potatoes. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm not big on sweet potatoes, but I'm interested in how you grow them. So
There's a link, Dale, for our first sweet potato video.
Okay. Revolutionary technique, growing sweet potato. Going vertical is a good idea. By the way, I think I want to switch brands of sweet potatoes I'm doing, though.
Oh yeah.
Those Japanese or Chinese or Asian, whatever.
Uh-huh.
They're okay, but I think there's a different brand or breed that I would like better.
There are maybe a dozen kinds of sweet potatoes out there.
Yeah. I'm going to try to bring this up now. Revolutionary technique. Got it?
There we go.
well, you know what? I'm gonna go.
Now that you're hungry.
I've eaten already.
You can't leave me here alone, Kath.
You're with Ace. You're not alone.
Well,
Wait. Boys and
you can't
girls
leave me
on
alone with Ace. Sorry.
on the
Oh, why
side chat,
not?
got to come
He's
in.
cool.
I can't determine when he starts talking. Sometimes I can't determine if it's a joke or if he's serious.
Yeah, I figured that he must have been joking about that chocolate sauce and salsa together, like that.
That was
Isn't right.
that was a pretty obvious one.
Yep.
I'll give you that one.
All right, guys, enjoy your video.
Okay, take a picture
Thank you.
of your plate of food and then bring it with you the next time. Because remember when photography was an investment of time and money, and people only took really good pictures, but now everybody's got a cell phone camera. And 100 years from now, they're going to look back and say, why were all these Americans and Europeans taking pictures of their spaghetti plate? What's that all about?
Well, I took a picture of my pork belly burger and fries the other day.
See what I mean?
That's exciting.
But years ago, when you had to invest time and money in photography because you had to get it developed and it cost money to develop it, you were more serious about what you took a picture of.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
That wasn't before your time, Kath, was it?
What's that?
Real photography with film and having it developed, that wasn't before your time, right? You've done that in the past,
I
right?
remember that.
Okay.
I remember that. Yep.
Okay.
I'm a 78 baby, so
Yeah, it was still going on then. But then if that's when you were born,
Yep.
well, it took a few years before you had a realization of film and and cameras and stuff. So
Catherine, I'm old enough to be your brother.
You are my big brother. You are my big brother. What are you talking about? No. You're like would be my like equivalent to my dad. Because I know you're around about my dad's age. So yeah, sorry, Ace, but yeah, no, not brother.
I'm old enough to be your neighbor.
Old enough to be your neighbor? That's funny. All right, I'm going.
Bye
Have
bye,
fun.
Kath.
See you
Bye-bye.
later. Bye.
Okay,
Oh,
brothers and
no.
sisters in the side chat and the lurkers, pay attention. There's a warm seat available here among the talking heads. Catherine just vacated that seat and come on in while it's still warm. Because nobody likes to sit in a cold steel grilling seat to be on the hot seat, you know. So, Dale, are you excited about sweet potatoes like I am? Are you like me?
I do like sweet potatoes. To be able to grow them myself, that would be sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something I really am gonna master. Because you know, I have been excited about butternut squash because when you harvest butternut squash in October, it can last 3, 4, 5, 6 months before it starts going squishy on you.
Oh,
So
wait. I'm sorry. Growing what again?
butternut squash,
Gotcha.
right? But apparently, sweet potatoes, once you harvest them, they also last about 6 months
Hmm.
before they don't go squishy. They start sprouting on you, and that's about time for planting it the next year. So I think I will like the dynamics of sweet potatoes more than butternut squash because I've been having a hell of a time. I don't have any room in my abode to put a lot of butternut squash in the kitchen, and I don't have a garage available or a basement available. So I got to. So a couple of years ago, I dug out uh, a a pit to sink two 55-gallon drums down into the ground all the
Wow.
way, 55-gallon drums all the way into the ground, thinking I could mimic a root cellar. So I put a
Sure.
bunch of butternut squash in there. I put a little pipe from the top of the 55-gallon drum up into the air so it could get some air circulation. I punched holes in the bottom of the drum at great expenditure to my physical being so it could drain out any water that got in there.
Sure.
And still I put the lid on and I thought, man, now we got it. We got holes in the bottom for air circulation to go up, for evaporation, and a tall, 18-inch tall PVC pipe to draw away the hot moisture if it's hot.
Hmm.
And still the damn thing's rotted in there because I didn't realize this, but that butternut squash has a lot of moisture in it after you harvest it, even though it's like knock on hard, it's still a lot of moisture in there, and that releases that moisture and turns moldy.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what to do. So I
Did you get water in the bottom though?
no, except for the butternut squash sweating
Gotcha.
within a week or so to drip water down at the bottom.
I wonder if it would have been beneficial to have maybe a foot or so of gravel underneath it, so even any moisture drip would soak even further away,
Now that's an idea.
and possibly more than one.
And instead, I think if I try it again, instead of putting the metal lid on it, which is rather airtight, not totally airtight, but rather airtight, I think I'll just put a kind of boards across it. So there's plenty of reason for stuff to evaporate. And then cover that with like 10 inches of straw and debris or 15 inches of straw and debris.
Might have to build a little roof on it so when it rains, it doesn't get.
No, it's covered. It's in the greenhouse.
Oh, okay, okay.
'Cause in other words, there's always something.
Yeah.
That's the rule of farming. There's always something that go wrong.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I like this idea of vertical growing.
Uh-huh. I do too. This is a new idea to me anyway. Yeah, aren't those pretty leaves?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a video on growing squash and whatnot vertical.
Hey,
I
here's
think
your
yeah.
Michigan buddy, Mac the Human.
Hey, Mac, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm having problems getting the audio to work into my headphones, though. Can you hear me?
It's just fine.
Yep.
Oh, good.
Hear you.
Cool. How are you
And
guys doing? I missed the last 10 minutes trying to sign into stupid StreamYard.
right. And if you have any trouble with audio, just let me know, and I will do for the deaf for you. I'll speak for the deaf. And we lost him. I guess he didn't like my joke. Some jokes work, and then some jokes make people just walk out of the auditorium without paying.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, I'd really like to come up with some decent material, whether it be PVC or aluminum, and some kind of posts that are rigid enough, durable enough, but not break the bank.
Mm-hmm.
That I can hammer into the ground and whatever.
She does it really cheaply on this video.
Really?
Yeah. But I wanted to say, look at those leaves, man. Aren't those beautiful leaves?
Yeah.
Those are gorgeous. They look like cucumber leaves.
Mm-hmm. So I recently learned that sweet potatoes are from the morning glory family. So they don't behave like regular potatoes. You have to treat them differently.
Right on.
Have you ever grown sweet potatoes?
No, but I've grown morning glories. I grow them every year. I love them.
Uh-huh.
And I grow regular potatoes. I actually just put some in yesterday. Put about 40 of them in yesterday.
Don't morning glories come back on their own every year?
They self-seed, yeah. They self-seed prolifically. So you don't really have to keep planting them.
Oh, they self-seed? It's not the same vine that sprouts again?
I think they're annuals. I don't think they think they come back.
Okay.
They just self-seed. Whew.
Okay.
All right, hit play and stand by the ready for Mac's comments.
All right. Don't hesitate, Mac. Just say, stop the film. Here we go.
Have you ever considered growing sweet potatoes vertically? These ground-covering vines can reach 20 feet, 6 m, in length. For gardeners with limited space, growing sweet potatoes on a trellis may be the only way to include this tasty tuber among their homegrown vegetables. In this video, I will guide you step by step, from planting to harvest. If you find it helpful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started together.
Okay, there she is, planting them in dirt. You don't have to stop it. We can just.
No. Well, I just wanted to say whole sweet potatoes. She just buries them. She doesn't sprout them. She doesn't do anything like.
No. And notice she's probably in a southern climate because sweet potatoes are a subtropical item.
Gotcha.
And she looks subtropical.
Yeah.
Hey, Mac.
Okay. I think I got it now.
Did you see that? They were just a little bit of the potato is still above the ground.
Awesome. Yeah, you got to leave a little bit above the ground.
Yeah, well, that's important to know. Yeah.
music sounds like Christmas music.
What? 10
Huh?
days? After 10 days, it got that big?
Oh, wait
That's
a minute.
amazing.
Let me adjust the screen so everybody can see. There we go. Yeah, after 10 days.
Wow.
Wow.
So
I've
these
had
are
I've
prolific,
had
shall we say?
I've had mine in that coffee cup for a month, and the what do you call those things again?
Coffee
Sprigs?
cups.
No,
Slips.
slips. There you go. The longest slip I got is about 3 inches
Well,
after about a
once it
month.
starts, man, they get real active.
Okay.
And they're slow to start, but once they start, they go crazy.
And the sweet potatoes I have are different than these.
Right.
The leaves are obviously different. Yeah. Okay. Ready?
Uh-huh.
Go.
See, she's cutting slips.
Watch live
Crap.
news on a variety of networks with YouTube TV. Terms apply. Cancel anytime.
Every lunch for the past 2 months, I've been eating Huel Instant Meal Cups, and it's changed the game for me. It's as easy as
It's a
instant.
game.
I'm sold. I'll buy the Huel.
But she's cutting slips, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry.
She's not pulling the potatoes out. She's just
Okay.
cutting the slips. Go ahead.
Okay. Doesn't she know about no-till?
There's that knuckle.
Yeah.
So that will be where the roots start.
Wow.
And you got to water it. Hold on. This is important. Okay. Back it up. Right there. You got to water it with a red watering bucket. Pay attention.
It's important. Okay. Because the sweet potatoes are kind of red. Right?
Red watering buckets are sweet.
Okay.
See, they all laid over and died.
20 days.
Look at that growth. Wow.
She's got straw on top of them now.
Good.
Looks like.
Cheater.
Well, is it straw or is it just different vines?
It's straw.
Okay.
So here's the trellis action for you.
Looks like bamboo. Maybe not.
No nails. No hammer.
I think I'm in love with this woman.
I like it.
And you got to play this music to the potatoes to make them grow.
I should see if I can't find that little potato song I was telling you about. Anyway.
Man, that's pretty.
Those leaves are just turning sunlight into carbohydrates. It's incredible. Oh, they're big leaves too. Starting to look like squash leaves.
Oh, that's right. You don't only the potatoes only grow underground.
Right.
So all the green are just slips.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, the green is also feeding the roots, Dale. Like
Of
you gotta
course.
have,
Of,
yeah, you
of
gotta
course.
have a.
Oh no. Yeah. I was thinking, well, I'm looking into doing squash vertical also.
Oh,
But
cool.
but with squash, all the fruit is above ground. That's all.
Right.
And when she started cutting all that, I automatically thought, wait a minute. Oh wait, there's no potatoes in there. They're all
Right.
underground. They're
Right.
yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, with squash, you would have to be going in there with pantyhose to give them little cradles to sit in as they grow, so they don't snap
Right.
off. Yeah.
Really?
And this greenery
Yeah.
that she's harvesting, you can feed it to the rabbits or put it in the compost pile.
Totally.
And you can also eat it too. You can eat sweet potato leaves.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Seems like a good plan.
Mm-hmm. That soil looks lovely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. Look at that sweet potato. Those are gorgeous. Nice.
Oh, she took the sides off of the
The garden
these side,
box.
yeah, the
Good,
box,
yeah.
yeah. So she could just dig in, yeah.
Those are nice.
That last one was a monster. The one in her left hand there. That's beautiful.
Looks like a big radish.
Yeah.
It's like looking at clouds. What do they look like?
Yeah. Yeah.
A sperm whale, a dolphin.
How you doing, Sean?
Hey, buddy. Good to see you guys.
Are you mesmerized, Sean?
Yeah, I like this, man. You know what? I just thought of a recipe I can do with these sweet potatoes.
Did you hear my recipe that I gave to Catherine?
Huh. I came in too late for that, Ace. I always miss the good times.
Go ahead, Mac. Tell him what the recipe is.
You're gonna want to get a pencil.
Oh shit! Is it that complicated?
It's big. It's a big. So what you do is, do you start with the sweet potatoes? I forget where you start. Start with the sweet potatoes, but you don't. What you cut them up into little chunks, and you don't cook them yet. But you cover them with a chocolate sauce.
Oh.
And then you you gotta slowly you gotta slowly cook those and with the chocolate sauce until it's all bubbling and nice and hot. And then
when do you add the sardines?
And then the sardines are on top of it after you wrap it up in a tortilla with the sardines and I think he had some catfish and some trout piled on top of the burrito.
Oh my God.
But inside the burrito, you got steak and salsa and the chocolate sweet potatoes.
Okay, so this is one of those Ace tricks.
Yeah. We're not sure.
So
half of us are going to try it. Half of us doubt it.
You guys.
No, he said it.
Hey,
I heard him.
So you guys have been told by Ace what a gullible son of a bitch I am.
Yeah.
And so you guys are all laughing at me in unison. So that means
he had Catherine going earlier. She was like, "Oh, that sounds interesting."
You know what?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Hey, what do you mean gullible? Ace told me gullible was removed from the dictionary.
Really?
You can't use that word. You can't use that word.
I know, Dale, but Ace you can't believe you're to the point now where you can't believe shit Ace says, and because when he's serious, he's raising his fist already. See, because I'm calling him out on it, but he does that. My little buddy, that's what he does, and so when he calls now, I don't even believe Ace anymore. I'm to the point like, oh no way.
You're catching on.
He should have been talking to you through the bag of silence. Then you wouldn't be so harsh.
The bag of annoyance.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start selling. He says he's got the patent on the bags now, man.
Well, just the one. Only the bag of annoyance. The bag of silence somebody else has. So don't use that
as That's cute. I was putting together a recipe and I thought I can cube these up and fry them in butter and add a little cinnamon and some stevia, and then you added the chocolate sauce, and I thought, son of a bitch, man, that right there, holy cow. And then when you added the sardines, that really got me juices flowing, man. Shit, man. And put it in a burrito? Oh, hell yeah.
Honestly,
I screwed up when I made that though. I had the sardines in the mustard sauce. I would not recommend. Don't use the mustard sauce.
Oh yeah.
It was good otherwise.
That's funny.
Jeez.
That is funny.
So Dale, you have sweet potatoes growing now?
I got some in some coffee cups on the windowsill, and I'm getting some, and I can never remember the name.
Slips.
Yeah. I cannot remember that name. Yeah, I've got some slips.
I'm gonna have to give it a try. I wonder if the farmer's market has any slips available. It's probably too late already to get them started.
No, it's not. Just go to the health food store or wherever you get your potatoes. and buy
Yeah.
them right straight from the from the health food store.
Okay.
And put them in a half cup of water. Put the bulb side down, the pointy side up. Is that
Okay.
right? No, put the pointy side down in the water.
I'm gonna try it the way she did it, taking the whole potato and putting it in a bucket of dirt.
Yeah. But
See
just
how
bring
that
it
works.
inside until frost is over, because these things are subtropical and they're
Right.
really affected by cold. They just don't like the cold. More
It's
than
still
other
pretty
things.
cold here.
Yeah, so you have to start
Yeah.
it in your kitchen.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm away. I'm away from the computer at the moment. So
Sure,
if you
I
guys got
understand.
any, so I'll have to talk through the bag of silence for a minute here.
Okay.
There's still like 4 minutes left in that video, but I don't know what's left. She could wash it, I guess, and maybe
There's
cook
more
it.
Yeah,
music.
yeah. I don't really want to watch her wash every single one of those potatoes. We already watched her haul each one of them out of the dirt for.
It is a relaxing video, though. I liked watching it.
Okay. All right, I'm back. Hopefully with that basket, she can just spray them off, right? All together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we're gonna trick her.
Nice.
The music won't put me to sleep either, if it's a little faster. Maybe it will. Oh, it's almost done.
That's a good
Ta-da!
harvest.
Yep.
Look like a 6-foot row, maybe.
Damn. It's massive.
Wow.
Look at that. Fuck.
I put the next one in for you, Dale.
Okay.
You know, Ace, you were talking about squash earlier, and sweet potatoes and squash go really good together.
Yeah, yeah, they're
And
both kind of
soups
sweet.
and things like that.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Sorry, guys. I was queuing up the other video.
It's okay.
That one was over?
Yeah.
Boom.
Yep, they're selling us vitamins now. Or something.
Hey, Ace, do you feel
lucky?
Brave to play possibly just a little bit of a song, or do you not want a chance getting a strike?
Yeah, go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah, just interrupted every 5 or 10 seconds.
Song?
Ready?
Yeah. Wait a minute. Let me bring it up.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm looking at it.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Oops. Sorry, I got to start it over.
You're my little potato. You're my little potato.
My God,
Yeah.
that sounds like Ace singing that.
I know it. Yeah.
What the hell?
I made a little movie with the grandchildren that I had it up to that point, with still photos of all of them, with this song playing, and I just loved it. But YouTube took it down because of the copyright.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Actually, this is how I feel about preterist.
You know, maybe if we mention all rights to Metamora, the group that did this, and whatever their label they're under, we're giving you some
everybody go buy a Metamora tape.
Yeah, if you like this song,
we're just doing an infomercial for Metamora,
free of charge.
Right.
Free advertising here, Metamora.
My favorite band now, Metamora.
Or Columbia Records, or whoever is responsible for this. We're giving you full credit, so please be kind. We're trying to be.
Wow.
Little potato, they dug you up. You come on the ground.
Say when, Ace.
So big.
Okay, that's enough.
Done with it?
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool little song.
It was really fun to have all my grandkids having still photos and showing, and with that song playing, it was perfect. Anyway. Okay, so what am I looking for now? I'm looking for how to prepare a garden bed and plant sweet potatoes by David the something.
David the Good.
Okay.
David the Good is a good egg.
I'm gonna roll out, guys. Have a good night.
No way.
Sean.
Yeah, you guys don't need me. I'm just
yes, we do.
A laughing clown.
I love having you around, Sean. What are you talking about? I never get to hang out with you.
And I never get to laugh enough.
Yeah.
You guys.
Love your laugh, man.
I love your laugh.
I don't know. I don't know why I laugh so much, man. You'd think I'd be crying like a sad clown, but I don't know. I'm just happy. I'm happy to be with you guys. It is cool.
You're my sweet potato.
Ace,
you're my little potato.
You guys, I'm a midget.
Yeah, that's what I said. A little potato.
Yeah. I'll take that title. Thank you. I appreciate that. Who's this cat, Ace?
This is David the Good.
Oh, okay.
He wrote a book called Compost Everything.
Oh, okay.
So he throws anything as compost pile. Meat, chicken bones.
Yeah, didn't you did a program on him one time, and he was being interviewed or something about the way he gardens?
Yeah, probably.
Right?
Probably.
Yeah. David the Good.
He's my hero.
This is only a 5-minute video, so.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Rock and roll.
Today I'm going to take this area and convert it into a bed for sweet potatoes. Let's dig it up and get it ready.
Man, he's a fast worker.
Yeah, he is. He's not into no-till, huh?
Well, no-till just means you till as little as possible.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you have to till a little bit.
Okay.
But you disturb the soil as little as possible.
Yeah.
So that tool he's using now is called a broad fork.
Called a what?
Broad fork.
Okay.
Where do you get this music?
I noticed it's grass and all, so it's not like it's a big deal, right?
Right.
Right in, just turning that the grass right into it is fine.
Mhm.
Huh?
Mhm.
Cool. Cool.
Now that I have a nice bed here, I'm going to throw maybe a 1/4 inch of good compost over the top of it. If that. Like I've said before, you don't need a ton of compost to make things happy. This is the compost from the chicken coop. Nice rich stuff mixed with soil and plenty of chicken manure too, I'm sure. And once I get this in there, I'll rake it around a little bit, and then we'll plant in the sweet potato vines that I have, or the slips. See what I think.
The thing laying in the middle looks like a skinned chicken.
Yeah, what is that? A tree
I cut
stump?
some of these
Probably
runaway vines from another sweet potato bed, and these will be the ones that I plant. These are my slips. You don't have to root them first when you grow sweet potatoes. All you have to do is cut yourself some vines that are ready to be stuck in the ground. I'll show you. It's not a big deal. Easy.
That's awesome. Not having to root them is such a bonus.
I'm going to be away from the computer for a few minutes, so I'll let you know when I'm back.
Understood.
Once you cut your slips, all you have to do is stick them in the ground, and believe it or not, they will root. Just make sure a couple of inches are in there when you stick them in.
Yeah, that tool he has is
And
called
they'll root. Keep them watered for a couple of days. They'll wilt. They'll look like they're going to die, and then they'll recover.
Yeah, that tool he has is called a
It's really
potato
amazing.
slip hole puncher 3000.
I know, it's a nice model too.
Yeah, you get it from Amazon. You can also get it from the karate studio.
That's right.
That's how simple it is to plant sweet potatoes. They are really simple. If you want to see more on how you can start sweet potato slips by sticking sweet potatoes in dirt or in cups of water and all that kind of stuff, and how many slips you can get, which is actually surprising. You can get quite a few from one root. You can check out my website, thesurvivalgardener.com, and look up sweet potatoes. I have a lot there. I also have a lot on survival gardening and how to grow plants in a dangerous situation and how to take roots and seeds from unlikely locations and grow yourself a survival garden in my book, Grow or Die, The Good Guide to Survival Gardening. You can check that out on Amazon, and I'll put a link below this video. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Catch me on the web at thesurvivalgardener.com. And until next time, may your thumbs always be green.
Gangrene.
God,
You purposely waited for me to have to be away from the computer before you started making your jokes, right? So I couldn't respond.
Yeah, come in and dominate with my silliness.
God, that's neat. You just plant those little vines, and they man, dude.
Okay,
it was that simple.
So Dale, pick out another one. There should be some on your feed somewhere over to the side.
Well, maybe he's got
about sweet potatoes, or another day with a good sweet potato.
Well, I'm thinking.
Welcome back.
Oh,
Today
wait.
I'm going to take this area and I'm going to double dig it.
What happened? We're at the end. We're at the end of the video here.
Keep going.
Yeah, it repeated.
Or at least loosen it up.
Say that again, Ace.
He's double digging it this time.
Oh, this
Oh,
is a
that's
separate video?
that's after he already harvested.
No, he sometimes throws on bloopers.
Oh,
His own bloopers.
Okay, because I was going to say that's those same two stumps.
Right, right.
Okay. Let's see what he's got. Right.
And get her ready to plant some sweet potatoes. This here will be a little patch of sweet potatoes. Why not? Let's do it.
I could only see your pants in there.
What the hell?
I want to grab. Do we want to do this one next? I just want to grab it before
What's it say? What's it say? Start a sweet potato bed. Yeah, that's fine. Let's do that one.
Let me see. Oh crap! I didn't want to go to it.
This is the worst part.
I wanted to. Wait a minute. I wanted
Welcome back.
I wanted to hear
Today I'm
what
gonna take this
was going on there.
And get her ready to plant some sweet potatoes. This here will be a little patch of sweet potatoes. Why not? Let's do it.
I could only see your pants in there.
Can't see my face?
Oh crap! Hit the wrong one.
Welcome back.
I told you he sometimes put bloopers in on his episodes.
It's May, and I just cleared out a section of ground. The carrots are out, and it's time to put in some more sweet potatoes. Unlike most vegetables, where it's getting too hot at this time of year, sweet potatoes can still go in. I have a few sweet potatoes I planted earlier in the season, but I would like to plant this whole bed right here with more. I'm going to show you how to rapidly plant a bunch of sweet potatoes without starting roots on the counters with toothpicks or buying starts or any of that silly stuff. All you need is some open ground, a pair of nippers, and a few sweet potato vines that are already growing.
Hey, Ace, I got a question really quick.
A quick question?
Well, maybe a little longer than quick, but this when they put these leaves in the ground, about how long does it take before you get a potato?
60 to 90 days.
Oh, that's not long at all. Shit. Wow. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was just curious.
So one day you too can be a farmer, Sean Eagle.
Well, yeah, if I can. Maybe
There's
I can
lots of land all around you. And the sweet potato leaves are so pretty that you could grow it on other people's property within a block of you. They wouldn't even know that it's a sweet potato. They'd just think, oh, the gardener, look what he put it in.
Yeah.
You just got to do all your preparation at night so they don't see you.
Yeah, guerrilla gardening.
Guerrilla at night.
Guerrilla at night.
Gardening, yeah.
Ace, do I need to have a gorilla suit?
Oh, why not? Or a ghillie suit. Do you know what a ghillie suit is? It's those suits that snipers wear to look like the bushes.
Got leaves. Yeah.
Cover the ghillie suit in sweet potato vines and.
Yeah, funny. Okay, go ahead, Dale. I'm sorry.
Over here is a bed of sweet potatoes that I planted earlier in the year. I've got multiple different varieties in here, as you can see by the shapes of the leaves. I've got the heart-shaped leaves and the jaggedy edge leaves. There are a lot of vines here. So I'm going to use this bed as a donor for my new bed. Let me show you how I do that. Along the edge here, we've got these vines that are coming out. So I'm just going to go along, cut some of them off. Sweet potatoes are a lot like ivy. All we need to do is gather enough of them together and we can go plant the other bed very easily. Since these are already popping into the path, why not just prune them and use what I have? I can do two jobs at the same time. What I'm going to do is just take these extra leaves off here, leave a couple on the top,
Then all you got to do, poke yourself a hole, stick that vine right in there. Doesn't even need to be as long as that one. That's actually overkill. Just bury them in. It's very simple, and they will root. Just keep them watered for a week or two, and you will be able to start all the vines you'd like very easily, provided you have a donor bed or you even have some growing in pots from earlier in the year. I'll often start a whole bunch of them in pots, keep them in the greenhouse. Then in the spring, I start my first bed as early as I can. Later in the year, I'll start second beds and third beds and ground cover areas and everything else from those vines. Very simple.
Hey, Ace, is it only sweet potatoes that grow that way? Or can you do other potatoes that way too?
The other potatoes, you don't stick the vines in. You got to stick the potato itself in.
Gotcha.
Or
okay.
Or you can cut the potato up just so it has eyes, potato eyes on the cutting.
Gotcha.
And then the greenery comes out of the potato eyes.
Gotcha. Thanks.
And there we go. All planted. Keep that watered, and they will be going strong in no time. Don't worry, the first few days, maybe a week or two, they're going to wilt. They're not going to look all that hot, but then those roots are going to form along those stems, and these things will be jumping. Looking good.
With Chewy, shop all the brands they devour at prices you'll love.
Up next, turn
What's
one
that channel again?
Either Survival Gardening or Florida Survival Gardening. But his channel is called David the Good. And he's got a lot of good material on there, including how to make biochar.
There's turn one sweet potato into 100 pounds. Easiest way to grow sweet potatoes.
Let's go 100 pounds.
Okay.
Hi, Rudy.
They hid their entire farm. You better be something.
What's growing on, gardeners? It is Tuesday, April 13th, and today I'm going to show
what's growing on. I get it.
All of you how to start your own sweet potato slips from store-bought potatoes from start to finish, so you can grow your own sweet potatoes from whatever variety your heart desires for pennies on the dollar. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell to receive new video notifications, and check out our Amazon storefront and spread shop in the video description for a list of the gardening products I use and awesome custom designed apparel and other gear. Your support is greatly appreciated. Sweet potatoes are one of those things that every gardener should be growing in their backyard, and that's because of how incredibly versatile they are and how easy to grow they are. Sweet potatoes love hot, humid weather. They love deluge rain. They're virtually impervious to diseases. They have almost no pests, and they can store for months at a time. So they're one of these super easy things to grow that practically grow themselves that you can store all winter long, and they're a great source of food for you and your family and a great way to cut down on grocery bills. Now, contrary to popular belief, sweet potatoes are not potatoes at all. They're not related to potatoes. They're actually the tuber from a morning glory vine. They're part of the morning glory family, and they grow from something called a slip, and you simply stick those slips.
You watched this video before, hadn't you, Ace?
Probably.
That's how you know they're from the morning glory. Oh, I got you. Sorry.
Into the ground, and they will root, and then they will grow roots, and those roots will turn into the tubers that you eat. While you can go to the grocery store and buy the good old orange sweet potatoes we all know and love.
Watch live TV
Oh,
like
come
this
on.
with YouTube TV. Try it free. Terms apply. Cancel anytime.
Adblock.com.
Meet Niles Knerth. He's the owner of Gurney's. They're a seed company, and they've been selling exclusive varieties since 1866. That's because store-bought produce
Is Gurney's pretty good? Have you heard of them?
I have. I've heard them for years. I don't know
So
anything about them.
So that's maybe finally a good ad.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. still gonna skip it though.
I recommend you go to a local Asian market if you have one and buy some of the varieties there because in my opinion, they blow away the orange sweet potato. One of my favorites is the Murasaki sweet potato. It is a purple skinned sweet potato with white flesh. It's one of my favorites. And you can actually see this one is starting to sprout. And this sprout right here is what will become the slip that you will plant in the garden. But my absolute favorite sweet potato in the whole wide world is the Okinawan sweet potato. The Japanese Okinawan sweet potato, it has a white tan outer skin, but the inside is purple, like Crayola crayon purple. It is absolutely delicious. It is one of the sweetest sweet potatoes you'll ever have. Now, the thing about these sweet potatoes are they're generally very expensive, especially the Okinawan sweet potatoes. This one potato costs something like $1.50, $2 just for this little guy. They're usually $3 a pound or more. So I recommend you go to the Asian grocery store and you just buy 2 or so because they will sprout and give you many slips that you can plant in the garden. While you can order the slips online, they are generally very expensive. I see them for as much as $25 for a dozen slips. So that's a really high price. For $2 to $4 worth of potatoes, you can start dozens of your own. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. But before I show you how, we need to discuss timing and when you should start your sweet potato slips. Now, sweet potatoes are frost tender. They can't tolerate any frost. However, you can't simply plant your sweet potatoes out after your last frost date like you can a tomato plant or a pepper plant. Things like tomatoes and peppers, while they're frost sensitive, they can tolerate dips into the upper 30s, low 40s. Sweet potatoes cannot. They are purely tropical, and they should not be planted outside until nights are consistently in the 50s or warmer. So for many of us, sweet potato plants should actually be planted about 3 to 4 weeks after your last frost date. For me, that's something around the last week of April, the first week of May, where I live on the southeastern coast of North Carolina. So you want to take your last frost date, add about...
I take it in Michigan, that's going to push it out even further.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay.
About 1 month, and then start your sweet potato slips about 60 to 90 days before then. It takes about 2 to 3 months to get these ready. Now, it's April 13th here where I live, so I am way behind. I should have started this process in mid to late February in order to get my sweet potato slips out on May 1st. So I kind of made a mistake here. However, the good news is that sweet potatoes are a root of a vine. So you can leave those sweet potatoes in the ground growing all the way until the vines get frosted. So even when your frosts start.
So I was screwing around this winter with a sweet potato, and I put it in a half cup of water, and it started sprouting, and I thought, oh, that's cool. And then when the sprouts got long enough, I put it in a gallon pot of dirt, and the damn thing grew all the way up and wrapped around my window blinds. And I took a picture of it and put it on KSL, and I sold the damn thing for $50.
There we go.
I regret it now because I didn't know you could take those slips and turn them into more sweet potatoes. But I've already made money with sweet potatoes. With one sweet potato, I sold it for $50.
Wow.
You should look into wrapping your garden in copper, which will grow at 15%, at least 50% of the cost of sunlight.
I've heard of that. Hit play.
Yeah, I got to get back to it, Ace. I was expanding my StreamYard screen to see who was talking. Is that Rudy?
Yeah, it was.
Somebody's racing a car there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
Good news is that sweet potatoes are a root of a vine. So you can leave those sweet potatoes in the ground growing all the way until the vines get frosted. So even when your frosts start, the frost will kill the vines, but because the sweet potato tubers are insulated by the ground, they will not be harmed. So even if I wait until late May, early June to get my sweet potato slips in the ground, that will still give me 5 months of growing for those tubers to get nice and large. So even if I'm way behind schedule, it's not going to matter because I will have plenty of time for them to grow. To start your sweet potato slips, the most popular method that you'll find online is
Cole, he's my miracle child.
Well,
so how does your miracle child?
Usually most people will stick toothpicks inside their sweet potatoes and they'll stick them halfway into a glass of water and let them root inside the glass of water. And while this will work, it generally takes a long period of time. The superior method is to take a moisture retaining potting mix like you see right here. This is simply a compressed cube of HP Pro Mix that I moistened to the point where it is adequately moist, but it's not wet. When I squeeze it, it holds its shape, kind of like a snowball, but when I squeeze it, no water drips out. So that's exactly what we want here. Now, all you have to do is you have to take your sweet potatoes and you simply lay them in this mix and kind of bury them about halfway into this moist potting mix. And these sweet potatoes will root for you like this, and they will develop these slips all over the place. So we're going to place our sweet potatoes so they're half buried. And this container right here is just an $8 plastic Sterilite container from Walmart. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this lid on here, but leave it a little bit cracked because I want it to build humidity, because sweet potatoes love warmth and humidity, but we need to let fresh air in daily. So what I'm going to do is I'm in my sunroom right now. This box is going to sit in a sunny location that gets at least 6 hours of sun every single day, and the sun is going to heat it up, and it is going to spur budding on all of these individual sweet potatoes, and that is going to turn into the slips that we can cut off and root later. And once we get the slips going, I'll show you how to do that. Here we are on May 5th, and I'm so excited to show you how many slips have developed on my sweet potatoes already. Just look at the roots that are being put down into this potting mix. This is absolutely incredible, and you can just see how many slips I have going as a result. And one thing I want to show you is that I have this right in front of an open window in my sunroom. You will notice that the window is completely up, and it's like that so I can acclimate the sweet potato slips to the sun. Remember, your windows will naturally block most of the UV radiation from the sun, so you can't acclimate anything in front of a window. You have to have the window open to let the full spectrum sunlight in, and that's what I've done here. And this right here is proof that this method of rooting sweet potatoes and growing slips is vastly superior to the rooting method that people do inside a glass of water. The real way to do this is with potting mix. Now, one thing that you will notice is that all of these sweet potato slips are coming out of this one very large potato in the back. And it's like that for a reason. The reason why is because this potato in the back is a Murasaki sweet potato that I grew last year and stored in November. So this sweet potato is 6 months old, and that's why it is rooting so readily. These other sweet potatoes I purchased from a grocery store, so they are much fresher. Therefore, it's going to take them more time to root. Because this sweet potato was old, it was ready to go. However, I will have you notice that I am starting to get some rooting on my other sweet potatoes, and you can see this one right here is starting to get a little bit of green growth, and it is beginning to root and give slips. But that being said, now I'm going to show you exactly how to take these sweet potato slips and prepare them for planting. I want you to notice exactly how sweet potatoes root. Sweet potatoes are the root of a morning glory vine, and they root along the vine. So what you see right here are actually root nodes. So when you plant them, they will grow and attach into the ground, and they will become full roots. You can see all of the roots at the bottom of the sweet potato right there. All of those right there are roots, and when you plant them into the ground, they will continue to grow, and they will produce more sweet potatoes along those roots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start removing the sweet potato slips, and then as I remove them, I'm going to place them into this fresh pint glass full of clean, fresh water because I want to preserve the roots. So I'm simply going to start cutting them off, and each of these sweet potato slips can actually be broken down into more individual slips because they all have little root nodes on them. So they are going to be placed inside that pint glass because I do not want those roots to dry out. When it comes to actually separating your individual sweet potato slips, what you need to know is that each of these nodes, which is basically where where a branch comes out of the main stem and you see roots, each one of them can be separated as a new sweet potato slip. So here you can see there are two nodes. There are roots here and there are roots here. This is actually one sweet potato slip. So we can actually separate that because it has its own root structure. So same thing here. This is another slip. And then this is another slip. And this is another slip. And you can separate them over and over and over again and get plenty of individual slips to plant. So you can see how many slips we just got off of that one vine, and each of them can be used to start their own new sweet potato plant. After the sweet potato slips have been harvested, what most people tell you to do at this point
Oh no.
is watch
Running
a
low?
commercial.
With Chewy, always keep their bowl full. Save
take the sweet potato slips and stick them in a glass of water for about a week or two to continue to develop the roots. I'm here to tell you that that is not actually necessary. In fact, last year I had sweet potato slips shipped to me from Etsy that were just cuttings that had no roots at all, and I stuck them right into the ground. I watered them every single day for about a week to keep them moist, and every single one of them rooted in about 1 to 2 weeks. I had no losses at all. So you do not have to do the step where you wait an additional week or two for them to root in a glass of water. You can plant them directly and save time. And that's what I'm going to do with these. I took my best, most well-rooted cuttings, and I'm going to stick them directly into the ground. And now is the perfect time to do this. It's 6 p.m. at night. The harshness of the sun is gone. It's overcast, and there's a chance of a rain shower.
6 p.m. at night. Good thing it wasn't 6 p.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
So this is exactly when you want to plant your sweet potato slips. Don't plant them in the morning or the middle of the afternoon because the harsh rays of the sun will be too much for them. It's very important that you put them in the evening when the sun has passed so they have all night to acclimate, and you have to keep them wet while they root. Now, each one of these sweet potato slips
like
will be planted 1 foot apart from each other. So each sweet potato slip will have a full 1 square foot to grow in. And they are going to go directly in these planting holes that I have amended with an organic 555 slow release fertilizer, as well as a light dusting of bone meal to help aid in the root development. So I'm simply going to take the
Something like
slips
fertilizer.
and I'm going
Say that again, please.
He put synthetic fertilizer in there. I'm a little upset about that.
Yeah. God bless David the Good.
It's
Yeah, God
synthetic?
bless him.
Is it synthetic or just processed to a degree? I mean,
He hasn't
I guess
discovered
synthetic
organic.
might not be the right word.
yeah, bone meal. I mean, it's just ground up bone, right? Or not?
Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole different topic.
Yeah. Rabbit hole.
to place them directly into the planting hole, making sure that where the root nodes are, that they are completely buried. And I'm going to compact them all into the ground just like that. And it really is just that simple to plant your sweet potato slips. Now that they all have been planted, we are going to water them in really well because it is critically important that we keep our sweet potato slips constantly moist for the first week or two until they get completely established. And just on cue, it looks like we're going to get a little rainstorm to help aid in establishing these sweet potato slips. And we will check back in 1 to 2 weeks once the sweet potato vines show signs of establishing. Here we are on May 12th. You can see how far the sweet potato slips have come along in such a short period of time. This slip right here is actually putting out new leaves. This one is starting to put out a new leaf here. It's established. These are all established as well, as you can tell by the way they're standing upright. This one's putting on new leaves. This one's developing new leaves. These are new leaves that are starting to develop. You can see them forming in between the nodes of the sweet potato slip. This one's upright and established. This one's upright and established. So it looks like that we have 100% transplant success. They all look great. And now that they've established, we will expect them to come to life even more quickly as temperatures warm. And as a fun little experiment, while those sweet potato slips were establishing in ground in my raised garden bed, I also took some excess slips and I placed them in this cup right here, right by the light of my sunroom window. And they've been sitting here for the same amount of time, and you can see the amount of root development that has formed on the sweet potato slips. They're looking pretty good. So if you don't want to go the direct planting method, you can get pretty good root development in about 1 to 2 weeks if you cut the slips off and place them in water. Again, I like the direct planting method better because I think it saves the step. But if you don't want to go that way, you can go this way as well and get good results in a short amount of time. Just keep in mind that if you do want to root them in a cup of water, you will have to change the water every 2 to 3 days. If you let the water get murky, the cuttings could fail and rot. And amazingly enough, look how many new slips I now have on my...
That's actually good to know because I got some slime growing in one of the cups with my sweet potatoes in there. So
yeah, you should switch that out.
I got to get that slime out of there. Good to know.
Sweet potato.
Watch 100 plus channels
Great.
on live TV with YouTube TV. Try
Save
it free. Terms
save
apply.
the
Cancel
slime
anytime.
water for your compost.
Hi, this is Mark Barton at Sandy Hook Promise in Newtown, Connecticut.
And hi, this is Nicole Hockley, also from Sandy Hook Promise.
All over again.
I was thinking of saving it for my coffee. No? Okay.
That's
I
funny.
picked most of them off, and now I have dozens once again. And to make matters even more awesome, this sweet potato right here has started to sprout slips as well. So I'll get even more off of that sweet potato. And this one down here is still firm as a rock. So it should probably produce another 50 to 100 individual sweet potato slips. So there you have it. You can get many dozens of sweet potato slips off of one single potato. One single potato could literally produce enough sweet potato slips for dozens of pounds of individual sweet potatoes, and that is just amazing. As for the other sweet potatoes, they are also fresh from the market. That they obviously will need a little bit more time to sprout slips, but I'm in no rush. We have long summers here, and I can't wait to get some of the Okinawan slips. They are my favorite sweet potato. I don't know about you, but I am blown away by how many individual sweet potato slips that one large sweet potato has produced. I'm going to get literally dozens upon dozens of slips off of that one large sweet potato. And if you factor in that each individual slip will probably give you a couple of pounds of sweet potatoes, it is not inconceivable for that one sweet potato to deliver me something like 50 to 100 pounds of sweet potatoes if I were to religiously collect all of those individual slips and root them. Of course, I don't have enough room in my garden to do that, but if you have a very large garden, it is not inconceivable for one sweet potato to give you an entire row's worth of slips and multiply into an entire row's worth of sweet potato plants. That is how productive they are and how great they are at multiplying. And that right there is how you can turn one sweet potato into dozens of sweet potato slips, or dozens, if not 100 pounds of sweet potatoes. They are that productive, and it is easy to do. And I hope that you got a lot out of this video and learned a lot along the way. If you did find this video helpful, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you're notified when we produce and upload more videos like these.
Sweet potatoes.
What?
So what would you make with all the sweet potatoes?
Sweet potato pie, sweet potato breakfast, sweet potato lunch, sweet. Oh, you got to hear my recipe.
Oh, here we go.
Oh.
Sweet potatoes covered in chocolate syrup and sardines and salsa. Man.
Trout. Hey, Ace, can refresh my memory now. So I get it. Sweet potatoes, you got to use the slips to grow a patch of them.
Yeah.
Regular potatoes, you don't do that way. You just bury the potato whole, and
Yes.
as long as there's nodes, then underground, all of that action will happen.
Well, yes, you can do that underground, or you can use the so-called Ruth Stout method and just throw the the regular potato on the ground and cover it with 12 inches of straw and leaves, and it'll grow through the straw and leaves.
Okay.
And with regular potatoes, they don't dig down to make new potatoes. They just build potatoes right around themselves.
Right. So you can do vertical, like you can plant some deeper than the other ones and get kind of layers of potatoes.
Yeah. Oh, here's a cool thing about potatoes, regular potatoes. You can say plant it in an old car tire.
Yeah, totally.
And then when the sprout starts coming up enough, you can put another tire on top of that tire and fill that with dirt, and it'll keep growing. And another tire on top of that tire. You can get about 5 tires going, and it'll fill the whole stack of tires with potatoes. You just keep adding more dirt and more dirt and more dirt.
Regular or like russet potatoes, they don't have greenery.
Yes, when the greenery comes up, if you want to keep stacking, just bring in more dirt and straw, and more, every time the greenery gets another 6 or 8 inches tall, keep throwing dirt and straw on it, and it'll grow 6. Let's say you did 3 foot tall of dirt, you'll have 3 foot stack of potatoes under all that dirt once you take it apart.
I got you. Okay. Interesting.
And with some copper, you can make it grow even more.
That's right. So Rudy's comment is put some copper in the ground and take advantage of electricity.
Yeah, I did actually.
Yeah, are you talking about like the coiled copper wire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical, but
I mean,
I'll give it a try.
Also, if you put copper in the ground, it'll grow more copper.
Oh, really? Now, copper's valuable.
And if you put $1 in the ground, it'll grow a money tree.
Cool.
My wife's always putting quartz crystals in the garden. You think that does anything? She thinks it does. It's pretty.
100% it does.
Yeah?
Just like
well, it's pretty at least.
Quartz crystals in the garden.
Yeah, just like
Right,
all around
any
plants.
crystals, any natural God-made crystals. Is
What if I pee in the garden?
That's definitely good for it.
Okay.
Well,
I just got done doing that, actually. Too much information.
No, it's not too much information. When I first started learning about gardening like this in the 1980s, one of my gardening buddies his name was Steve Music, and he was saving his pee all through the night, and he had a bucket of pee by his bed, and I thought, oh, that's really weird, and I kept it like a secret. I never told anybody about the value of urine in the garden or what Steve Music was doing. But then, over the years, it's a common thing for gardeners to save their pee and use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why
Full of
use water when you
antioxidants.
can use pee?
Full of good stuff. Is that pee-pee? Is that preterist?
Yes, it is. Aren't we blessed?
What a treat.
It is a blessing, ain't it?
Hey, I'm happy to see you, man.
Man, all the uses of the letter P.
I know. Triple threat.
Okay, hit the next one.
Potato.
Oh, okay.
There ought to be another one.
If you're curious about any of the products that I use in my garden, they are all linked down below in my Amazon storefront link down in the video description. And while you're there, check out my spread shop link for custom merch if you want to support the channel. Thank you all again so much for watching, and I hope to see all of you again on the next video.
Oh, the most handsomest boy in the whole wide world is all ready for bed for the night.
Look, Dale, he's talking about
We
you.
just have to take him outside one more time to go potty. You want to go outside and go potty? No, he's all done for the night. He already went.
How sweet of
This
him. to talk about
revolutionary way of curing sweet potatoes. You want to hear about curing?
Oh, sure. We're going to, since we're going into the sweet potato business.
Got to know what to do with them. Yeah.
Got to candy them, jar them.
Did you know you can actually prevent eggs from ever going bad? Water glassing eggs saved America during the Great Depression.
What's going on, gardeners? It's Saturday, November 27th, and today I'm going to show you what's possibly the easiest and most revolutionary way to harvest and cure your sweet potatoes. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell to receive new video notifications, and check out our Amazon storefront and spread shop in the video description for a list of the gardening products I use and awesome custom designed apparel and other gear. Your support is greatly appreciated. One of the easiest crops to grow down here in the southeast is sweet potatoes. They're basically impervious to diseases. They have almost no pests, and they thrive in heat and humidity and heavy rainfall. And normally I harvest my sweet potatoes before my first frost, but this year I wanted to push things as hard as I could, and I let them get frosted on, and they actually endured 3 different freezes. So all of the vines are burnt back. And I let them in ground as long as possible because sweet potatoes are a root or a tuber, and they grow larger the longer you let them in. But now that the vines are killed off, there's no point in keeping them any longer. They can only get destroyed by deeper, harder freezes. Now I have 2 varieties of sweet potatoes here. I have the Beauregard sweet potato, which is a traditional southern orange sweet potato, and the Murasaki sweet potato, which is a purple Japanese type. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all of these vines off so I can actually get to the sweet potato tubers. And I'm not going to throw these vines away. I'm actually going to take them and I'm going to place them in a wheelbarrow because I'm going to relocate them to my driveway pad, and then I'm going to run my lawnmower over them and chop them up into the lawnmower bag. And then I'm going to take those mulch clippings and I'm going to dump them back on top of this bed because they make fantastic mulch and a good ground cover that will break down all season long.
Wow.
Now that we've removed all of the sweet potato vines, we're going to dig down and feel around.
Go.
He said he likes this guy.
Oh, okay.
I was
around and try to find all of the sweet potato tubers. And I recommend putting on gloves and using your hands for these, because the tactile feel of your hands are really going to help you locate everything, because there's going to be a tremendous number of tubers buried under here. So if I simply do some digging, these roots are serious. So over here, I have the purple Murasaki Japanese sweet potatoes. And then on this side over here, I have the more traditional southern Beauregard sweet potatoes. Look at that cluster of sweet potatoes right there. This must be probably 4 or 5 pounds of sweet potatoes just on its own. So now I'm going to go through and pull all of these out of the bed. And here we have our sweet potato harvest. We have the orange Beauregard sweet potatoes right here, and then we have the purple Japanese Murasaki sweet potatoes right here. And the first thing that you'll notice is the orange sweet potatoes are much more prolific than the purple sweet potatoes. And that is true. You get better yields out of these orange Beauregard sweet potatoes, but what you don't get in yields from the Japanese variety, it makes up tenfold in flavor, because in my opinion, they just blow away an orange sweet potato in terms of taste. That's my personal taste preference. Now let's look at the size. The purple sweet potatoes are more uniform, and they are almost perfect when it comes to shape for the most part. Really happy with the shape. The orange Beauregards, on the other hand, the shape isn't quite as nice. They're a little bit more lumpy and bumpy and non-uniform. Overall, I'm really happy with the yields that I got out of this bed. The problem is the size just isn't up to par. So next year, I'm going to give my sweet potatoes a lot more fertilizer, namely some triple phosphate, to help really boost that root size, because it's clear to me that I probably underfed my sweet potatoes. Now, one thing that you will notice about my sweet potato bed is that it is just full of sweet potato roots. They are just all over the place. Everywhere you dig, you find these sweet potato roots. And this is precisely why I've told you in the past, sweet potatoes are one of the few plants that you should never rotate in your garden. That is because they are extremely, extremely invasive. Once you plant sweet potatoes in a spot in your garden, all of these roots that are underneath your frost line are going to survive the winter. And then when the soil temperatures start warming back up in the spring, they're going to come to life again, and they are going to start regenerating. So wherever you plant sweet potatoes, even if you don't plant sweet potatoes in the following years, you will keep having sweet potatoes spring back up year after year after year.
Hello.
Is that good?
If you don't have to plant them again and they keep coming, that sounds like a good thing to me. Unless,
yeah, it sounds like a good thing to me.
Wow.
Sunchokes are like that too. Can't get rid of them once you plant.
Really? Wow. That's my
Jerusalem
that's my
artichokes,
kind.
you know?
Yeah, that's my kind of gardening. The kind where you do it once, one and done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Other than digging it up and eating it. Wow. Cool.
So if you want to preserve those roots that are there throughout the winter, you cover that thing with leaves and straw and grass clippings, like 6 or 8 inches or 12 inches, so it stays pretty warm under there for them.
Yeah. Wow.
And the roots are going to take over the area. So if you have a garden and you plant sweet potatoes in different locations, they're going to spread like wildfire throughout your garden and take it over. So I strongly recommend dedicating a specific raised bed to sweet potatoes and never growing anything else but sweet potatoes in that location. And if you have a small garden, grow them isolated in containers, because they will eventually take over your entire garden. You don't have to worry about pests and disease, because sweet potatoes are extremely resistant to pests and disease, so they can be grown in the same location over and over again and do great. This right here is just a massive ball of sweet potato roots that I was able to pull out of my bed. I'm going to let them sit and dry out in the sun on top of this weed barrier and get hit by a few more freezes to kill them all off. In the meantime, I'm then going to take a rake and I'm going to rake my raised bed nice and even again, and then I'm going to dump all of the mulch that I made out of the sweet potato vines all over the raised bed, and then I'm going to let those sweet potato vines decompose throughout the winter. Growing and harvesting sweet potatoes is an incredibly easy process, but despite how easy that process is,
one of the biggest sales ever. 30 beef sticks for just $30. Try for $1 each.
The next step is what keeps so many gardeners from actually growing sweet potatoes, and that is the curing process. After you harvest your sweet potatoes, you need to cure them in a two-step process, and when they are properly cured, not only will they taste better, because right now they're very starchy, we need to cure them just so the starches convert into sugars so they taste good, but we also need to cure them so they store for a very long time. And when properly cured, sweet potatoes can store for months. Now, as I mentioned, sweet potatoes have a two-step curing process. The first step is the high heat, high humidity curing process, where you need to store your sweet potatoes at about 85 degrees Fahrenheit and 90% humidity for 4 to 14 days. I've personally found that about 7 days is perfect. 7 to 10 days is really probably somewhere with the ideal amount of time. The second process is the cold cure process, where you store them at 55 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit for 6 to 8 weeks. Since we're in November, it's really easy to accomplish the cool curing process because pretty much everybody.
That's too technical for me, man.
What's the second method? The cool curing process? 6 to 8 weeks at 50 low humidity. Okay.
Low humidity.
So either 14 days or 6 weeks. Okay.
No, it's both. He said step one is
step one and step two. Okay.
Warm. Yeah. Yeah.
Weeks. Since we're in November, it's really easy to accomplish the cool curing process because pretty much everybody's garage or basement right now is at that perfect 55 to 60 degree Fahrenheit temperature range, pretty much everywhere in the United States outside of a few areas.
Or did he mean either or?
I think he meant either or.
Want to go back?
No, keep going.
Okay.
That are super far north or super far south.
Yeah, because I'm not going to do it.
South. So it's usually not a big deal to do the cool curing process. The difficult part that a lot of people avoid or skip altogether, which you shouldn't do because this is what really makes your sweet potatoes taste good, is the hot, humid curing process. Because we're in November, it is very difficult to find a place that is constantly 85 degrees Fahrenheit with high humidity. And I've seen a lot of people annex entire rooms of their house where they will wall off a room, shut the door, put in a space heater, and then put in a humidifier and crank the humidifier and the space heater for however long to actually create a hot room to cure all the sweet potatoes. But who wants a room in the house that you can never go in? And that's pretty brutal on the electric bill. So last year, I showed you a method of doing this in your oven. You can simply take your oven and place your sweet potatoes in there and throw in a simple 40-watt strand of incandescent Christmas lights and a loaf pan full of water, and then you can create your own humidity chamber and just lightly vent the oven. And doing that, you can establish the perfect conditions for the warm cured period. Now, if you don't use your oven a lot, and this sounds convenient for you, I will link to that video above because it creates the perfect conditions. However, if you're like me and you like cooking a lot, you may not want to give up your oven for an entire week.
Put them in that bucket, and then put them in that car in your driveway that you don't drive.
Yeah.
And it'll get hot throughout the day.
There you go. Yeah.
Up to 2 weeks for you to do this warm curing process. Now, here on my channel, I'm always trying to build a better mousetrap, and that is what I think I've done here. I think I've come up with the greatest, most convenient way to cure your sweet potatoes. And to do that, all I'm going to use is one of these 105-quart, 99-liter clear Sterilite containers. They're about $10 at Walmart. All of my sweet potatoes are stored in this container. Then I'm going to take one of these 64-ounce, half a gallon mason jars and fill this up with water. I'm going to put that in the center of the container. Then I'm going to use one of these 20-inch by 48-inch heat mats that are used for starting seedlings, and a thermostat, which is used to thermostatically control a heat mat for your seedlings. And these are only like $15 on Amazon. I have all of these items linked in my Amazon storefront. A heat mat and a thermostat will only cost you about 40 bucks, and you'll be able to use them all winter long to start all of your seeds. So simply by adding water to this container and this heat mat, I'm going to create a perfect humidity chamber, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So I'm up in my office on a carpeted floor, and I have the heat mat down on the carpeted floor.
At Mill, we made the absolute easiest way to deal with your food waste. You add your food as you make the scraps. When you go to sleep,
with the large clear container, with the full 64 ounces of water in the center, and that water is going to provide the humidity. Now, the reason why I'm using carpet is I need to bring the temperature inside of that container up to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. And the way these heat mats work is if you need a high temperature, you have to place them on carpet. If you need a low temperature, you need to place them on a hard surface. And that is because hardwood floors or concrete floors or vinyl floors tend to be very cool this time of year, and they will absorb the heat and spread it out over the floor. So a heat mat struggles to get very warm on a solid surface. On a carpeted surface, only that area absorbs the heat. So carpeted floors tend to build heat very quickly. So your heat mat will get hot on the carpet. And this is precisely why you need to use one of these thermostats. You will not be successful if you do not use one of these thermostats, because it will get far too hot in there if you just let the heat mat go on its own. And setting this up couldn't be any easier. This is the thermostat right here. So all you do is you take your heat mat and you plug it in to the thermostat like that. Then you plug your heat mat or your thermostat into the outlet. And then right now it's defaulting, right now the temperature, which is this probe right here up in my office. You can see it is 72.1 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to hit set, and I'm going to turn this up to 85 degrees because that is the temperature that we need. And then this thermostat is going to stay on until 5 degrees. So I'm going to take this probe and I'm going to drop it right inside of this container. And when it gets up to 85 degrees, this thermostat is going to kick the heat mat off. When it drops below 85 degrees by more than a degree or two, the thermostat is going to kick back on and it is going to warm up the chamber again. So this is a no-brainer way to keep the sweet potatoes at about exactly 85 degrees Fahrenheit, give or take.
I used something like that. I was growing some mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
I had it hooked up to a timer that would turn the lights on and off and the humidifier on and off. So I had two separate systems going. Grew some pretty cool mushrooms.
A degree or so. Just make absolute sure that you are doing this in an area that gets absolutely no sun, because if the sun gets in there, it can make things far too hot. And the last thing that we're going to do is put this clear lid on there, but we're going to put it on so it's cocked to the side ever so slightly, because we don't want this to be completely sealed. We need a little bit of fresh air to get in there. If you let it seal completely and you don't let any fresh air in there, you could create a rot producing environment. So you need to be able to vent some of that humidity. I'm just going to let the heat mat do its thing. It's going to warm up the bottom. The thermostat is going to keep things exactly at 85 degrees. You can see right now it's only at 62.9, and that's because the temperature probe is actually contacting the sweet potatoes, and they're very chilly from being underground. We are 5 days into the warm, high humidity curing process, and I couldn't be more thrilled with how things are going. The thermostat has been holding practically perfectly in the mid-80s, exactly where I want it to be, and the plastic container is doing great with the humidity. As you can see, there's this ever so slight film of humidity on the lid underside, and if I lift this lid off, you can also see that the mason jar that held the water, it's slowly starting to deplete. And that's because the water is slowly evaporating and releasing humidity into the air just as designed. So everything seems to be working perfectly, and the sweet potatoes look absolutely fantastic in there. So I'm going to let this go for probably about 7 to 10 days. So another anywhere from 3 to 5 days more should get me exactly to where I want to be. It's 10 days later, and my sweet potatoes have completed the warm curing process up in my office. Everything went perfectly. Now I moved them down into my garage, where it is a perfect 55 degrees Fahrenheit. These sweet potatoes will remain here in the bin for the next 6 to 8 weeks. And I'm going to leave the lid on, but slightly askew, because I want it to stay cool and dry in there, but I want to keep any insects from getting in that may be trying to overwinter inside my garage. The reason why we're doing the 6 to 8 week cool cure process is it generally makes the sweet potatoes even sweeter, and they will store better when cured in a cool, dry area. However, if you wish, you can take one of the sweet potatoes and you can bring them inside and bake them in your oven. And if you find they're sweet enough, you can use them all right now if you wish. However, if you find that they aren't sweet enough, they can get sweeter over time when you let them cool in this low humidity, cool, dry climate. And that right there is what I believe to be a revolutionary new way for curing sweet potatoes that will save you a ton of time, a ton of space, and a ton of energy. So if you found this video helpful, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you're notified when we upload more videos like these. If you're curious about any of the products I used in my garden, they're all linked down below in my Amazon storefront in the Amazon storefront link. Also, while you're there, check out my Spreadshop link for custom-made merch if you'd like to support the channel. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see all of you again on the next video.
Good morning, sunshine. Did you have a good night's sleep? Look at you in your handsome PJs. You ready to go potty? You ready to go potty, Dale? Come on, let's go outside. Let's go potty. Oh, it was cold out last night. Look, it's all frosty, buddy. There's frost all over the ground. Your foots are going to be cold. Your foots are going to be cold. Go quick, buddy, so you can come back in and warm up.
He's got to take his PJs off. Doesn't he have to take his PJs off to pee?
That's why it starts with P. PJ.
Oh, we're back on PP, huh?
He left. So we
that's
can't make
good.
any P jokes worth remembering. Well, wasn't that fun, boys and girls?
Yeah.
That was really cool. That was really cool. I'm glad we watched the curing one because that's an important part of it, you know? Might end up with something you don't want to eat otherwise.
I actually have one of those timers from my mushroom days.
So, Mac, what have you got growing now?
Well, what I'm harvesting right now is spinach. I'm getting tons of spinach.
Oh, yeah.
Just like baby, you know, little spinach, but I have so many plants going that I can make meals out of it. I still have sunchokes that I pull out once in a while. Those are, you know, they developed last year, but they're still in the ground. I left them in the ground over winter, and they seem sweeter after you leave them in the ground over winter. And I'm wondering if that's a curing thing now that I'm watching this. You know?
Sunchokes are almost like sweet potatoes, aren't they?
I mean, I don't think they're related, but they're tubers.
No.
You know, they're
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're tubers, and aren't they kind of orange or?
yeah, no, kind of like yellow, pale yellow. They look. You know what they remind me of is ginger. They look a lot like ginger,
Oh, okay.
but bigger, like fatter ginger.
Are they tasty?
They're good. Yeah, I like them. They're kind of earthy and.
Ooh, I like earth. I love
Remind me
beets.
of-
Beets
Yeah.
are earthy.
They're really you can make them like regular potatoes. You can mash them and stuff. But the nice thing about sunchokes is you can eat them. You can eat them raw as well,
Mm-hmm.
and they're good pickled. Last year I pickled a whole bunch of them. I made like 12 jars of them. Pickled them with some peppers that I grew, some like hot peppers that I grew, and I've been snacking on them over the winter, which was really nice.
Wow.
And when you pickle them, you help mitigate the digestive problems that sunchokes are famous for. Artichokes. They got the same, I forget what it is, but they got the same molecule in them that beans have. So they're, you know, they can cause bloating and digestive problems, especially if you eat too many of them.
I think they're called lectins.
But you can mitigate that. Yeah,
You're
that's what
talking
it
about-
is. Say that again, lectins?
Yeah.
But in layman's terms, you're talking about farting.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
bad. Even though they're good in beans, they're bad.
They're supposed to be good for you overall, though, somehow. I don't, like, if you can make your body work on them, you know? You can slow down other problems. I don't really know. But I know fermenting them kind of helps mitigate that problem.
Yeah, I could go on and on about lectins, but yeah, beans.
Really?
They're just too
Cool.
versatile. Yeah.
Sorry, they're too
Like
what?
versatile beans.
Oh, yeah. I love beans.
Bean and eggs.
So the beans are growing too, and I've got little lettuce plants, but they're not ready to harvest. And
Harvest? What are you talking about? It's just planting season, isn't it?
I'm harvesting
know.
spinach.
You're already harvesting? Jeez.
Because he used the jars to get those spinach started.
That's right.
The jars, to put the jars over top of them like a little greenhouse.
Wow, man, you're on top of your game there.
Plus,
I've got a
spinach
bunch
doesn't
of
mind the
lettuce.
cold.
I got a bunch of lettuce to harvest too. I'm not lettuce, but spinach
Nice.
that I grew over the winter with the covering, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Fantastic.
But I used jars, not plastic. Not I got 1 gallon glass jars that I cut the bottoms off,
Mm-hmm.
and then I've got plastic 1 gallon jars that I cut the bottoms off, and also
Yeah, your water bottles.
yeah, the water bottles, and also I did this for the spinach. I picked up some great, you know, I don't know what it was originally used for, but it's like 8 feet by 8 feet square, you know, and it's
Mm-hmm.
got grates on it. So I propped it up so it would be about 8 inches above the ground, and I put all the spinach seeds in there. And then for winter, I just put a bunch of leaves over top of the grate, so it would be warm in there throughout the winter,
Oh,
even though it
nice.
didn't get any sun. But they came along anyway. And I remember
That's great.
Mr. Elliot Coleman in his experimenting with growing in the winter. He said it seemed like spinach would be is insulted if you keep it too warm. They seem to love the cold.
They do, yeah. There's a
Because
couple of
Elliot
plants like
Coleman he's the guy who created the rolling greenhouse. He put wheels, like train wheels
Oh,
on the
cool.
bottom, and he's the guy who invented the rolling greenhouse. So 100-foot long greenhouse, and he would strap some rope to it, and he'd pull it over he'd plant carrot seeds on the 15th of August out in the field, and then it would come up, and just before frost time, he would pull his whole greenhouse over top of this 100-foot by 50-foot greenhouse, pull it over top of the carrots, and he'd be harvesting carrots all winter long. And he finally became known as the winter gardener. And he didn't even bother
And that
growing
was in
stuff in the
Maine or
summer.
something, right?
Yeah, he's in a town called Cold Ass, Maine.
Cold ass.
Maine, right? Yeah.
The opposite of Hell,
Up
Michigan.
north.
Right?
Yeah, that's it. His videos are really fun to watch. Elliot Coleman.
Yeah, you
He's
turned me
like
on
the
to him a while
grandfather.
ago.
He's the grandfather of the organic gardening movement.
Right on. I'm heading up to Howell this week, Dale, to get some wood chips for the garden. I'm gonna get about
Really?
100 pounds of wood chips. Yeah.
You're gonna dump. Why don't you go on chipdrop.com and have them dropped off at your house?
I'm on that too. I just can't get enough.
Oh, okay.
This is from a place that processes firewood, and they
Mhm.
advertised on Craigslist. I contacted them today, and they were like, "Oh yeah, come on up." So I'll borrow a buddy's truck and go up there.
Are they giving them to you, or do you buy them?
It's cheap, but it does cost.
The chip drop is free, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I signed up for the chip drop, and I keep signing up for it again every time I get some. And you can check a box that says, will you take like small logs and branches too? And I say, yeah, I want that too. Give it all to me. Don't even bother.
And they don't produce enough to satisfy your needs?
I
Wow.
mean, I've gotten it twice so far, and it hasn't been. No, you saw my yard. I've got a lot to mulch. I love it.
I would think.
It's
I would
really
think
good for the apple trees.
I would think all those companies together, however many are in that program, would certainly have enough. I don't know. Maybe they sell it or something. I don't
They
know.
probably do, but yeah, I think they might sell it. I think they use the chip drop when they're like just in the neighborhood. They're like,
Right, when
look
it's
up if there's a
convenient for
chip.
them.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, because they probably can sell it to landscaping places and stuff.
Are you making charcoal
Oh yeah,
and
sure.
biochar?
Yeah.
Cool.
I've got 4 buckets going right now, but I also have been adding it to my garden for a long time already. So,
Uh-huh.
but I'm starting a new bed this year, so I need a lot more of it, because I want a lot in the soil. I want the soil to be dark.
Mm-hmm.
That's always a good indicator. So
I know.
Man,
It's starting to look It looks beautiful when it's really dark, huh?
Yeah.
Because you know what it's all about. There's a lot of input in there.
I'm starting to get the bug to rototill my backyard.
Oh,
Just,
do it.
the first, maybe the top 6 or 8 inches, maybe. I don't
Get
know.
rid of the whole yard.
Well,
I would
go ahead.
do it the lazy way, Dale. Just spread
Really?
cardboard out over what you want to be the bed and start piling stuff on top of the cardboard.
Yeah.
Dirt, leaves,
That's what we
grass
do.
clippings.
Cardboard and straw.
Yeah. Because the cardboard will kill
And then
the
keep it wet.
grass. The cardboard will kill the grass
Okay.
all the way through down to the roots.
Yep. But it feeds
But
everything else.
but it still needs to be loosened up though. So, I don't know. I don't know if my muscles can
Depends how
handle it
quick you want
anymore.
to plant.
I'm tired of, man, digging those trees out where that that kicked my ass, man.
Man, I hate digging trees out. It's the only time I consider using Roundup is when I'm clearing out like scrub trees and stuff like that. I hate it. I hate those scrub trees. And the roots will go for like 100 feet. It's just a little tiny diameter of my thumb tree that I'm cutting down. I'm trying to get rid of.
Yeah, I put the hose on it and soak it for a day or two until the water is just so easy, then you dig in and pull it up, and it's a lot easier that way.
That's a good idea.
I've seen some videos of people who just build a little fire around that tree and burn it down. I've never tried that though.
Sounds
Yeah,
like
that should work.
that sounds like a real good plan. dig enough under it to yeah.
Or you could just keep chopping it off at the ground level, it will eventually give up.
It will, yeah.
It needs photosynthesis. Yeah. You just got to be diligent.
Man, I love gardening.
Me too. I feel like, you know what? I
wish I
feel like
liked
I'm
it
doing something that matters when I'm gardening. Like, I feel like I'm doing something
Mhm.
important. Like, I feel like I'm working with God's plan, when I'm gardening.
Mhm.
Like, I'm doing something He wants me to do. It's a cool feeling.
You're scattering and watering. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I'm just busying myself in His creation. I'm just marveling at it and enjoying it and participating in it. I love it. I really love it. It's everything to me. I've been thinking a lot about, I was bragging about today that video you've shown a few times, Ace, about the fellow that started the cattle ranch and
You mean the
and
100,000
revitalized the whole
beating
town.
hearts?
100,000
Is that
beating
the
hearts.
is that
Yeah,
the video? The 100,000 beating hearts?
that's the one.
That is a marvelous
I
video.
was telling this guy that was at the restaurant tonight who was talking about how much land costs and how he just wishes he could. He was talking about how he wants to start an intentional community, around farming and stuff like that. And I said, you don't have to think about it like that, because a properly run farm will create a community. Like, you don't have to
Mhm.
sign people up to all go and work on your farm. You could start a farm and the people will come, and I told him about this. Yeah, I told him about we looked it up together. So I had the link from watching it before. We didn't watch it, but he said he's going to watch it later. But I think about that guy a lot, because I think about the potential for harmony that can just start with something as simple as growing food. The potential for harmony, like not just in your household and in your yard or whatever, but like in your whole world, in your community, in your locality,
Mm-hmm.
your family, just by actively participating in in this life thing that's
Mm-hmm.
happening around us, and being a part of it, being a meddler in it.
A meddler.
Hey, does the concordant version say call Eden a garden? Is garden the right translation?
I think so.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Have you ever seen the Back to Eden videos?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
He's quoting scripture all the time about farming this and farming that, and I'm thinking, how did he find those verses? But
The Bible's full of metaphors about harvesting and planting,
Mm-hmm.
but also practical advice. Oh man, it's good stuff.
If you're watching right about now, you should hit the link and come on in, because I'm going to wind up here so we can have after show a little hootenanny, but I'll close up shop in just a few minutes. So go ahead and hit the link and come on in.
Well, while you're still alive, I'd like to thank you and Dale for making tonight's show happen. Learned all about sweet potatoes and heard a song about little potatoes. It was a really good show.
All credit to Metamora.
Metamora.
Don't give it a
Atlantic
strike.
Records.
Yeah, or whoever, whatever
Whoever it
record,
was.
Capitol Record, whatever.
Illuminati production.
Yeah, there's a guaranteed strike now.
So Dale,
Well,
are
they'll
you
never
glad you
strike
helped
the
me
sweet
out?
potatoes.
Are you glad now, Dale, that you helped me out?
Sure. It was good. I couldn't find the word. It was we'll settle with good.
Dale was reluctant to come on because he's shy.
I am.
It's part of your charm.
I am reckless. Charge ahead, don't look back. Leave a trail of bite me out there. Bite me, bite me. This Evangel of Grace that we got from Paul is just absolutely fun. To have stumbled on this model of understanding the scriptures.
Oh yeah.
It's more satisfying than anything else out there.
Mm-hmm.
That actually all is of God. Wow. And it's amazing to me that so many Christians fight it. Mm-hmm. All is not of God. What are you talking about? There's evil out there and people eat babies and whatever. And they kick puppy dogs.
Terrible.
They need to go to hell. I can't believe I got kicked off of Linda's channel the other day because I annoyed Bruce.
Oh no.
So much Christian love.
So relaxing to actually just trust God for everything. Just he's got it all handled. Man. Man, it's so nice.
He'll show you. He'll be like, check out these sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
Look what they're doing.
Sweet. Uh-huh.
Look at these vines. Look what's going on. Dale, I gotta have you over again soon.
That works.
I don't care.